After the gig in Ljubljana, what's the first impression, please?
Ah, well, it was fun. It seemed to me there was a lot of people who were really into the show and they weren't beating the living crap out of each other, and just here to watch the music rather than show off. And I think that was really good. And I thought it was a pretty good place for it. The sound was a little boomy in here, but generally it was really fun.
Yeah, but downstairs the sound was okay. What's your opinion about the 60s music? I think there are a lot of American, not just American, also Canadian bands playing 60s music in the 80s, in the end of 80s, with exactly feeling like 60s, with the same lyrics, with the same, not just the image, but let's say feeling.
Speaking as someone who was only a small child in the 60s, I like a lot of music from the 60s, but I can only sum it up with this phrase: it was a fine idea at the time. People, it's like punk rock. You're going, oh, fuck, man, punk rock, old 77. It's like, wake up, kids. This is 1988. It's like people, oh, yeah, I'm going to play. It's like in the early 70s, people tried to play 50s, rockabilly, stuff like Sha-Na-Na.
Yeah.
And it's... He's not listening. He's not listening.
I do listening,
okay.
But... we finished at 60s. So what about 80s?
The 80s, I think a lot of the 80s has been retread for the most part, but there's been a lot of good music coming out too. Black music, for instance, has had a big resurgence in rap music. I don't know, speed metal is pretty new. There's a lot of music that's gone down the tubes. Reggae, I found the reggae of the 80s really boring. I think as far as even alternative music, everything included, everything has become really homogenized and sort of bland, and it's not a question of as much anymore as I'm going to do what I want to do, and hopefully someone will like it. It's a question of, what can I do to have people like my music?
So we were talking about the different kind of music. So what you can say about your style, about your music?
Key for any band to make good music and to continue to make good music is to make their own music. I mean, a band like Joy Division we were talking about before, they weren't a 60s band, they weren't a 70s band, they weren't a punk band, they were Joy Division. And that's the only kind of band they were. And when you bought their records and saw them live, that's what you expected to see, not the latest in speed metal or a psychedelic band. You expect to see Joy Division playing their songs. I think if this band has any ambition, it's that eventually people who come out to see us will come out to see No Means No, and No Means No style of music. Not anybody else's, and not because it sounds like anybody else.
So what's your next step?
We're just going to keep touring. Maybe next time we can tour into Russia and all Eastern Bloc countries. Maybe next time we can go to Australia and Japan, and we'll try to put out more.
September. We have an album coming out. We should plug it now. On Alternative Tentacles, called Small Parts, Isolated and Destroyed.